live, if we can all just take a minute to drop into the space together while I get this connected to Instagram.
Maybe we can close down our eyes a little and just center wherever we are right now and just feel into this topic, this big topic on anxiety and depression. Just scanning your body for anywhere in your life that you felt this, in the past, in the present, and just bringing some curiosity into the body and into what's there. And today we'll be going on a journey with this topic. You can open your eyes when you're ready.
Thanks, Tara. It's always fun getting that good old Instagram connected. So, like Tara said, we're going to be talking today about transforming anxiety and depression into ease and pleasure. And, as humans, most of us want to be living in our ease and our pleasure. And the path to get there is often requires us to meet those darker parts and to go to those dark places. And sometimes we need to go so deeply into those dark places that life just gives us a huge wake-up call. And I know, Tara, you spent quite a few years stuck in anxiety and depression and really going through that. So I'd love if you could speak into that experience and what the shifting point for you was to start consciously transmuting that anxiety and depression into ease and pleasure.
Thanks, darling. I think I'll start by saying that if your being and your emotional being got to the stage where you're feeling the intensity of anxiety or the intensity of depression, then there's layers of the emotional body beneath that aren't being felt. And that could be some fear, that could be some sadness, that could be some frustration, some anger at whatever is going on in your life, maybe whether it's to do with your romantic relationship, maybe it's to do with the relationship with yourself, maybe it's to do with the environment that you're living in, your work, life. And when we're not connected to our bodies and feeling whatever's coming up in our life situation, then our emotions get compounded. So let's say, and this was my situation, I was really unhappy in my marriage. And let's go with the second marriage. We got two to pick from. In my second marriage, there was a lot of fighting and arguing and disconnect and addiction and numbing. And because I wasn't looking at that and feeling that, then what those emotions just got pushed down, and then that got compounded eventually by this depression where I felt overwhelmed with all of what there was to feel. And so then I sunk into a depressive state. And the same with when I've gone through periods of anxiety as well. It's because there's for me, it's been there's fear and there's frustration, and I'm not feeling that. And often it comes through to me like anxiety to do with work and relationship with money. But if I'm not staying on top of and being really honest and prioritizing feeling what's there in my life and in my emotional body, then the anxiousness can start to rise. So for me, anxiousness and anxiety, which is so prevalent, I don't know anyone who hasn't experienced that in their life. It's a sign that there are things in our lives that we're not feeling and looking at. And so that those emotions are compounding, and then they're getting, I guess, a little bit neurotic, with anxiety and with depression. So if we just all take a breath now. Let out a sigh on the exhale. What do we do in that moment when we do that? And you see all of us in the academy doing that on lives and workshops, in sessions. It's like we're pausing and we're bringing presence and coming back to the body. And as long as you're distracting yourself from the areas of your life that don't feel great for you, then those emotions are just going to get larger and larger, and sometimes they take a different form, which is the depression, which is like, "This is too much to deal with. Oh my god, I'm not good enough," and all of the self-worth just crumples you, or the anxiety when you're in a constant, like, fear response. So the first thing to do when you're working with these energies is just give them some space to be felt. And that can feel really scary. If you've had anxiety for years or you've had depression for years and you're like, "How do I how do I start? How do I start with feeling these feelings?" And consistency is key because it's all around safety. And what we're doing in this life with any emotional experience that we're having is creating safety for those parts for us to actually hold them and feel them. They're not going anywhere. I've done medication, I've done antidepressant medication, and those feelings, they're still there. So starting with spending some time with yourself every day to just be with the anxiety and be with the depression, and what that looks like, for me, the easiest kind of go-to is shaking, and to shake the body. So if we shake the body a bit now, and you might even wanna stand up and do this. I'm gonna stand up and do this.
Let's stand up.
Let's stand up and do
Get
this.
up, everyone.
Yeah. And just start shaking. Any tension, any anxiousness, it's like, "Oh, I don't know how it's gonna work out. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I feel overwhelmed. What am I gonna do?" Just expelling it with your deep breathing, with your movement, and with sound. The 3 are key. This is how we release stuck energy from the body. And if you're feeling depressed, and then maybe you wanna breathe into that, and it's like, oh, there may be a heaviness or a lethargy, so we're moving the energy. Maybe we feel depression at the moment. This is too much, nothing's ever gonna get better, I can't do this. Let that move through the body, let that be expressed through the body. And it's about moving energy rather than staying stuck and anxiousness keeping you stuck in your day, rather than depression keeping you stuck in the day. This is about pattern interrupting, and you pattern interrupt when you get off your chair, you get out of bed, and you move energy through your body. Stay with it. We'll be here one more minute. One more. Close down the eyes and let this be a journey into yourself. Get a little bit weird. Maybe you wanna growl a little. Maybe you're in complete resistance, you're like, "I don't wanna do this, I don't wanna feel this, I'm sick of feeling this way, I wanna just give up. I just wanna give up on life." Move that through your body. Wherever you're at, in resistance, in anxiousness, in fear, shake that, move that through your body. Give that expression. Keep expressing, keep expressing. Can use your hands to push away energy. No, go away, leave me alone, this is too much. Oh, that's it. And then gradually slow that down and just bring a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly or your solar plexus. And just breathe deeply, letting out some sound. And just give your heart a rub. Give your heart a rub and let yourself know, I am here for you. I am here for you. I've got you. And it's okay to feel anxious, and it's okay to feel down and depressed sometimes. And I'm here. I've got you. Ah, just let yourself feel that. Stay connected to yourself. This is why we go into the extremities of feeling intense fear, of feeling intense sadness or depression, is because of this disconnection with self. So come back to yourself. Keep breathing deeply. Ah, and just let yourself know that you're right here and that you're listening. And you may want to hug yourself like Sadel's doing. Tell yourself, I'm right here and I'm listening. And I'm sorry for all the ways that I've distracted myself, that I've abandoned you. But I'm here. I'm here. And I've got you. And I'm willing to go on this journey with you. And bring loving, grounding touch to your body, your womb, your heart. Mm. When you're ready, you can come back and slowly come back to your seat. Hmm. So you can see just by like moving your body for 10 minutes, and moving some energy, it's like we wake up in the morning and we brush our teeth, or we brush our teeth at the end of the day because, or have a shower because we've got all the muck of the day on us. And yet we don't do that with our emotional body, and that's why we have a global epidemic of mental health issues, because we're not clearing our emotional body daily because we're not taught how. And yet you look at children and every day they're doing that before the conditioning comes in of like, don't be angry, don't be sad. Their natural being is releasing emotion as it comes up, day by day, moment by moment. The animals do it as well. But us humans, with all of our programming and conditioning to like be in the mind, unfortunately, that's where our civilization is at the moment, is to be very, very mind focused and have allegiance with the mind, not with the heart, not with the body, and not with the soul. So we're completely disconnected. So if you're going through or have been going through those those intensities of anxiety and depression, know that it's fair enough. I was in that for years, and still I have to hold that part that can go into depression and can go into anxiety. But now I have the tools to work with that. And it's that commitment to coming back to yourself again and again and releasing the energy, and then just feeling into, and we'll just complete this process now. So just closing down the eyes again and bringing your hands to your body and reconnecting with that energy, and just feeling, what do I need? What would be really helpful for me right now in my life? Mm. And maybe if it's anxiety that you're feeling, it's to take more quality breaks through the day so that you can come into rest and digest in a parasympathetic state. Maybe it's to finally have a conversation around money or relationship or work that you've been putting off that's just in the back of your head, and just have that conversation. And if there's more of a depressive feeling there, feeling what you're needing. Maybe it's like, "I have to get out of the house today, and I'm just gonna go to the beach. I'm just gonna take myself to the beach." Or, "I'm gonna go reach out to a friend and have lunch with them and elevate my mood in some way." But just feel into what it is for you right now, what it is for you that you're needing. It can be small, it can be big, whatever's alive for you. And just one thing today that you're gonna do for yourself, and commit to that, commit to that. You can open your eyes when you're ready, and then follow through with that, because this is a really quick process, but there's amazing shadow work processes that you can do where you really go into whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's fear, whatever's going on for you, and you get to see what it's actually needing, because the reason that those emotions can get so hectic in our lives is because 'cause we're just not listening. And I was in an unhealthy marriage, doing a job that I did not like, and working way too many hours, so I had depression and anxiety going at the same time, and it wasn't until I started practicing tantra then I'm like, "Oh, I can speak up about how I'm feeling and what I'm needing, and I can change my working hours so I don't have to work as many hours and have a conversation with my boss." But the confidence and the energy to do so came from a place of me really going within, allowing myself to fully feel the emotional state, and then asking her, "Okay, what do you need? Like, let's just get honest." And sometimes the reason that we're avoiding feeling those uncomfortable feelings is, 1, we're all just completely allergic to feeling pain because of all of the resistance in the world to feeling pain. But the other thing is because we can be afraid of what the truth is. The truth may be you need to end your marriage. The truth may be you need to leave your job. The truth may be you need to move countries. The truth, who know, like they're extreme things, but when you're feeling those extreme anxiety and depression, something's
Mm,
out of alignment in your life. And
mm,
you need to love yourself enough to actually explore that within your body, because I promise you that when you do, when you listen to your body and go, "Okay, something is out of alignment. What is this depression telling me? What is beneath this anxiety?" And you see that and you clear that somatically through your nervous system, then it's so much easier to then take action towards coming into more balance in your life and making those changes and making those decisions, because you're connected to yourself and you're connected to that vulnerable part that says, "I'm not happy right now. I'm not enjoying my life as it is right now, and this needs to change." And when you listen to that and trust yourself and follow that, life is just life keeps circulating. Life then keeps opening to other possibilities that we're not even aware of, because our limited mind is so focused on, like, I attachment to the relationship, attachment to job, attachment to our life exactly as it is now, because we're so afraid of the unknown.
mhm,
And so a big part of this journey is having the courage to feel what our truth is, at least to become aware of it so that you have a choice as to what you're choosing in your life.
mhm,
Then it really requires a bigger trust, first of all, in yourself, but then a bigger trust in life and actually the way that the universe works, the nature of reality. And so we've been talking about the micro, and we've been talking about the emotional body and feeling that and exploring that and seeing what it needs. And what I find is that once we see what shift needs to happen, then we need to bring in the macro. And the macro is soul, universe, God, spirit, grand organized design, whatever name you want to put to it, that if we're not connected to that, it's really challenging to make those big leaps into the unknown and to do something different in your life than what society has told you, than what all of your friendship circle are telling you, than from what your work colleagues are telling you, because our society is built on the disconnect from spirit. So if you're really going to expand your life beyond the constriction of anxiety and the constriction of depression, and I have been there, I know how debilitating that is, then firstly, you need to go to the micro and hold yourself and do these tantric processes, do these somatic processes, get clear on what needs to shift in your life. And then you need to be connected to something bigger than the personality and the ego identity, which is that, I mean, it's like we're divine beings having a human experience is the easiest way to say that. And what a trip that is. What a trip that is. And there's a trust then in life that if you're aligning your vibration to something that is that you're a yes to, that you are going to attract and manifest more of that, because that is the nature of the universe. We live in a reflective universe. Quantum physics has proven that. Everything is vibration. Quantum physics has proven that, as well as spirituality. So if you're staying in your life as it is now, and you're a no to these different things in your life, and you're becoming anxious and depressed because of it, then that's going to be the cycle that you keep perpetuating. So it takes a tremendous amount of courage and faith and trust to break free of that. And when you do, you get the life experience of what it's like to follow your yes, and you just do it again and again and again until you're just like, wow, this really is the nature of the universe. When I look after myself and I keep aligning with what brings me ease, with what brings me joy, with what lights me up, with what brings me pleasure, I create more abundance, I create more joy, I create more opportunities that life just brings me. And it does work that way. And anyone who has the courage to do that will have the same stories to tell.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that connection with spirit and to the divine and to expansion is so important, and also looks so many different ways.
Mhm.
And it can be meditating, or it can be going out in nature, or it can be singing mantra, or playing music, or whatever it is that you individually feel is connecting you to that energy. And like Tara said, having a practice every morning where you're dropping in with yourself and knowing that there's nothing wrong with what you're feeling and that there's nothing to do. I was with my friend the other day, and she's going through a breakup, and there's a lot moving, and she was having a bit of a hard moment, and she was like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I was like, you're doing it. Like, just exactly what you're doing right now. Just drop in, just breathe. Like, that is all you need to do. And as soon as she took a deep breath, like the tears are flowing, she was breathing. Like, the power of breath, sound, and movement are so incredible at moving. Like, it's not, when you're really connecting in the present moment, not getting stuck in the mind and spiraling into more turmoil, but just connecting with what is really alive, feeling that it's not going to keep going. It's going to eventually end, and all you need to do is stay present with that and keep letting it flow. And then you move into that expansion, like Tara said, when you've done feeling that. And yeah, it's such an incredible way to transform these intense emotions of anxiety and depression into more ease and pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because it's like we feel like we're gonna be stuck in it forever. So many of my clients, it's the same thing at the beginning of every session when they go into the feeling body. The fear is that if they feel it, then it's just kind of gonna be bigger and it's gonna be more present. But what we resist persists. We all know that. And that's why there's a differentiation between, okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed. That can just go on for years because you're just in it. But what we're talking about, like you said, is breathing, sounding, and moving, because breath, sound, and movement enables you to go so deeply into the body that you're accessing the unconscious. And accessing the unconscious is where the deep healing and integration happens. So if you're not accessing your unconscious, I also have people like, oh yeah, I express my energy when I go to the gym or when I work out. I'm like, that's releasing tension. That's not going into the unconscious. Going into the unconscious requires a deep commitment to being with self and just to keep feeling through the layers of the emotional body, and that's what we teach people how to do in our practitioner training. That's why we're so passionate about that, is because it's not a natural part of our toolkit, because we haven't been taught that, and actually we've been conditioned to do the opposite. We've been conditioned to look out for our happiness, look outside ourselves for our worth, look outside of ourselves for our pleasure and joy. So the whole world is just a little bit fucked up, topsy-turvy, and what we're here to do with this body of work with the Academy is just to say to everyone that the answers to all of your problems, right, are in here. And you can spend a lifetime looking out there, and you may find a few nice Band-Aids, but really, where we all end up on our journey at some stage in this life or the next is like, can I be with myself? Where else could the answer be? We're all individual souls. And so that's just what absolutely fascinates me about this body of work, that when we combine breath, sound, and movement and presence, loving presence to go into the body, we get to these incredible places within our being that we can make monumental shifts that last. Because like you were saying, we're not just thinking and talking about it and spiraling on the mind and trying to problem solve and analyze and risk assess. I spent my whole life doing that, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. Now when I catch my mind doing that, I'm like, no, darling, we're not doing that. Let's just come back here and feel. So the anxiousness, every time I catch that, calms down because I'm bringing myself back to my body. And that's maybe the third part that I want to speak into, is that we've got this, what we're talking about, which is feeling, breath, sound, and movement, being in the body, and prioritizing that every day, like you would prioritize your physical health or your physical cleanliness, right? And then your typing's really loud.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Some people. And then the second part, like Sadell was saying, like connect to life, spirit, in whatever way floats your boat. We're all different. We all have different like connective points. Some people it's through nature or the earth or through deities or through meditation or whatever it is, but connect to something beyond the personal ego identity. And you're going to be held in a way greater field than what your mind and ego is trying to constrict you as. And then the third thing that really I found so supportive is the micro moments throughout the day and catching yourself. Catching yourself when you go into an anxious thought and go into a depressive thought, and pattern interrupting that. And this takes willpower. And what I find works the best is speaking it out loud. So I speak to myself out loud all the time now, and I'll catch it. So I we're in a launch at the moment. I've got so much on. I get a message from a friend. He's like, "When can I see you?" And like, lots of things needing my attention. And then I just went to myself. I just paused. So this is the micro moments. I brought my hands down. I shook for a little bit because I'm like, oh, everyone leave me alone. I'm so busy. Blah, 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 blah. Story, whatever, releasing it. And then I came back here and I hadn't interrupted. And I talked to myself and I said, you are doing so well. The launch is on Monday. You're relaxed. You're looking after yourself. You're having a good time. You're balancing everything. You're doing great, Tara. You're doing so great. We've got this. We've got the whole day to, finish all these tasks. You're doing great. And then I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. So it's what we choose to believe, and it's what thoughts we're feeding. And I love the analogy of the black wolf and the white wolf. It's so true. We have this voice that just brings us down and tells us how everything is doom and gloom and how it's so terrible and all that. And then we've got this voice that we can only access if we're connected to our heart and our soul. That's just like, you're doing amazing. Look how you were this time last year, Tara. You're doing so well. You just woke up early before this live to move your emotional body, to get some healthy food, and did a Pilates workout. And it's 9 o'clock. Well done. Great. Become your own best friend. Become your own best teacher. And often, if I can't do that, I'll be like, what would Sadell say to me right now? Sadell, I call the oracle. She's just like, or what would Sasha or Raven say to me right now? What would my besties say to me right now? How would they love me right now? And then I bring in that energy. So these micro moments are just the way that we're reprogramming our belief system and our nervous system throughout the day. That's kind of the integration after you've done this big holding for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important. And like you said, if you don't know what to say to yourself, think about what the people who love you would say and then give that to yourself. That's beautiful. And as well, like the dark wolf and the white wolf, I really feel that comes in when you're in your process as well, watching how the dark wolf can take over, and you're not really processing what's in your body anymore. And I'm sure a lot of women especially have experienced, you're upset about something, and instead of really staying with that sadness and moving it, you actually are processing the thoughts in your mind and perpetuating it and making it worse and worse and thinking this and this and just making it sadder and sadder. It's like that isn't how you're actually going to move the energy. And I've gotten stuck in that for hours and hours. And we all do it. It's going to happen. But just catching it when that does happen, and then just going, okay, like noticing I'm in my mind right now, like taking a deep breath, giving yourself a hug, coming back into the present moment and feeling what's really here, and acknowledging the power of your breath to calm down the nervous system. And just like 90 seconds of deep breathing has such a big impact on how we're feeling.
Absolutely. And that point that you're speaking to, of when we go into the mind and we start thinking, when we're really trying to connect with ourselves, it's an avoidance strategy. It's one of the top human avoidance strategies, far surpasses alcohol, weed, Netflix, social media, is thinking, overthinking. So yeah, catch when you're in the mind, and the practice, like this is why we sit and meditate, is so that throughout the day we can catch when we're going into mind and thinking, and then using that willpower to come back into presence, into the body. And we do that again and again and again. So that's why meditation is kind of the foundation of all of this work, is because it gives us the awareness to catch when we're spiraling in the mind, and to come back to presence with ourself.
Mm.
And a great question you can ask yourself is, okay, so you're in your mind, there's all these like worst case scenarios or whatever it is, drama going on, and just go, how does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? And then see how it makes you feel. And then just stay tuned in to the feeling and give that breath, sound, and movement.
Mm.
And, you can get to the stage where then you just drop the story and you're feeling the raw energy and emotion itself. And it's so powerful when there isn't a thought process going on and you're just feeling anger, you're just feeling sadness, you're just feeling fear, which is always the emotion that sits beneath the anxiousness and the depression. It's just that they're present because these base emotions have been not felt and avoided, and so then they get compounded and present as anxiousness and depression. So you
Mm.
need to be feeling your anger, and the way to actually claim your power back, especially with depression, is often unexpressed grief and unexpressed anger. That's just become too much, so it's like a hopelessness descends.
Mhm.
And so that's where you need to start, is slowly, little by little, every day, start with shaking, feeling those emotions, giving them expression. Maybe you wanna say, "I hate you, I can't do this," and you let the energy and emotion move, but you're doing it through your body, not through your mind.
Mm.
And finally letting that circulate through the body with breath, sound, and movement.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I remember when I had a moment, I don't know, not even that long ago, maybe 8 months, and it was just this light bulb moment of I was in a process, and for the first time, my mind was actually quiet, and I hadn't even realized that I was processing from my mind. And I was like, wow, I'm actually like, I don't need to know why this is coming up. It's coming up and it's being released, and that's great. And
Mm.
then, after it's been released, often there is more clarity that comes around the situation anyway. And yeah, it's such an interesting thing to watch. And even, I've grown up with mum and everything that she has to say and all her wisdom. And I was still, without realizing, just processing from my mind for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been training with her for maybe it's like 9 years now, and I remember a couple of years ago was when I really had to look at how much I was still living my life and processing through the mind,
Hmm.
and it was when I realized it, it was shocking. It was shocking, and I have compassion for that part now
Hmm.
because it's, where kids in year 5 now are being taught to do exams and having to do and being penetrated from the mind at 5 years of age.
Yeah.
I've been part of that whole institution of education, all the way through university, so I've had my mind penetrated. We all have to some degree, and so and there's a reason for that. If we do life through the mind, then we stay working for a system that is all about control. Who would choose in their right mind to work 40 hours, 5 days a week, plus work on the weekend just because we've got work to do, and then have a savings account that eventually, you buy a house, get a mortgage, and then just wait for the day that you get to retire to actually relax? Like, we've all been programmed into that and disconnected from our emotional body, because if we were to feel our emotional body, we'd say, "What the fuck? What am I doing with my life? I'm like 40, 30, 50, whatever, and I'm just working to do what? To make money for some business, to buy stuff, to then retire when I'm older, my body's not working because I haven't been looking after my body because I've been working my whole life."
Mm.
We are in the matrix. We are in the matrix, and the only way that we get out of that is through feeling. That's how we claim our power back. And if we're disconnected from our emotions, then we're disconnected from life force energy, and we will stay stuck as sheep in a system that wants us to stay stuck as sheep. So we're talking about a global movement here, and that's why the academy is called Embodied Awakening, because we're going into the body to awaken from this conditioning, from this dream, from this matrix that's like, wow. And I'm here to tell you that I was in the matrix big time. And I took myself out of the matrix. And is it challenging and scary and hard? Yeah. And is it so worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just look at the world. Like, there is some serious global crumbling happening. And it's time for all of us really to come back home. Like, we need safety in these times. We need safety in these times. And no matter where you are in your life, that safety is in here. And no matter what got going on in life, that safety is in here. And so if your mind's like, oh my God, now I want to leave my job, and maybe this isn't the relationship for me, and will I ever be in a relationship, and what do I do? You've gone back into your mind. You've gone back into the whole thing that is causing this global craziness and crisis. So the practice, as Sadell beautifully said again and again, is to catch when you're in the mind, take a deep breath, and come back to presence with yourself. And then ask, what am I feeling right now? What do I need to do right now? I need to go shake. I need to go have a nap. I need to feel my emotions. And stay connected to your feeling body, because it is your pathway to awakening, embodied awakening. And that's what we're all here to do, whether we're conscious of it or not, is to awaken and to remember. And so we will keep getting the lessons, and we will keep getting the life experiences again and again and again. And if you're not listening, then your ass gets kicked. And I have had my ass whooped by not listening, and from going into distraction and going into addiction, until finally something has to crack open, and I need to feel, and I need to look at my life, and I need to make big changes in my life. So listen to yourself, but also watch what life is showing you. What's going on actually in your workplace right now? What's going on in your relationship right now? What's going on in your life right now, and what needs to come into greater alignment? And have the courage to spend an hour, set up some cushions, light a candle, set an intention for clarity, and to let yourself really feel and explore that. And if you don't know how to do that and you need support, then we have a whole team of trained practitioners that you can reach out for sessions. So get support, or maybe there's a somatic therapist and then where you live. But this is where it's all at. This is where it's all at. We can heal ourselves. We can heal ourselves from all of the mental intensity and confusion that breeds depression, that breeds anxiety, that breeds hopelessness, that breeds not wanting to be alive at times. If we just keep coming back here. And the Academy has so many free resources. The podcasts are amazing. Tantra 101, like, educate yourself and be supported.
Mm.
And we love you all, and we're here for you. And we've all been there, you know. We've all had our own experiences of struggles in life, and they don't have to run your life. Oh, like every human being, it's possible for you to work through your challenges and actually expand. That's what we're all here to do.
Yeah, and making that time for yourself, and in those micro moments, it's so easy to say, oh, I've got to do this thing on the computer. Like you push it down, and it's in those small moments. You know, Tara did it. I did it. Most of us have probably done it. We push something down because we prioritize work over ourselves. And it's like, what is your priority? Is it work? Is it this task that probably does not matter if it gets done in 5 minutes, an hour, whatever it is? Or is it your happiness and your ease? And it's those small moments that set the tone for your whole life. And so, really recognizing in each moment, how can I prioritize myself and how can I prioritize my ease in this moment? And I do have time for that. Everyone has time for it. You know, even if you're working full time, you're super busy, you know, life happens, but there is always 5 minutes, and 5 minutes can make such a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And, you know, I find with all of this is that it has to be, for me and for lots of people, first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I pick up that phone,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's, you know, the ego wins.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
Yeah.
much every time. There's very rarely a time that I haven't opened my laptop or turned on my phone, checked messages and be like, "Now I'm gonna go do my daily practice or do my exercise."
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, we walk around with these phones are like amazing technology, but like everything, the shadow of it is so big. So first thing in the morning, do yourself the best favor. I wish this came with like being human, that you had to every morning, just like you have a shower or brush your teeth, that you just be with yourself. And like Sidel said, even just 5 minutes, 20 minutes, even better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's an hour for me. And exercise and move your body, your
Mm-hmm.
productivity and what you create in the world will be so much more effective and efficient,
Mm-hmm.
actually. And then take breaks throughout the day. Because if you're just working like this, you're actually not being productive and you're probably doubling up on things and doing things that you don't need to. Whereas if you just go lie down for 10 minutes and relax your nervous system and let yourself integrate the work you've been doing for the last 2 hours and then come back to it, it's just productivity expands. So
Mm.
the takeaways is number one, first thing in the morning, be with yourself. Look at our free resources. Use some of them to create a daily practice for yourself, where you're shaking, you're breathing, you're sounding, and you're holding yourself. You're being with yourself. The second thing is throughout the day, look at your micro moments where you're catching the thoughts, the black wolf, the white wolf, where you're catching where you're just like on the computer working or on your phone. You're like, I need to take a break, and take that break, cut and interrupt, do something that's self-nurturing.
Mhm.
And then the third thing is the practice of gratitude. And I always bang on about it. And it's the most incredible practice, actually, to connect yourself to joy and to the vibrational frequency of what you are a yes to in your life. And it's an incredible practice to connect to the macro, to connect to spirit. And
Mhm.
what this looks like for me, and I've tried all different ways, is I have to be sitting up. If I do it lying down, I do it first thing in the morning when I wake up. And last thing before I go to bed, it can take 2 minutes, and I speak it out loud, right? The sound. And I say three things that I'm grateful for in my life today, and three things I'm grateful for in my life in general. And sometimes I end up laughing, crying. I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you." And you're just focusing on the white wolf and on everything that's amazing, and you're aligning yourself with that, and you're aligning yourself with the nature of the universe, which is that we get more of what the energy vibration that we're in. So
Mhm.
crank that. So that's my third and final tip.
Yeah, yeah, we've been doing a really beautiful at dinner since my friend moved in. She's brought in this ritual of before we eat dinner, we all say three things we're grateful for. And like Cora, my partner's kid, is there. She's only 5 years old, and she'll be doing it. And it's like, it's such a beautiful thing for parents with kids, especially. Like, get at the dinner table, everyone saying what they're grateful for, and get your kids doing that from such a young age is such a good thing to, you know, implant into their system, I feel.
Oh, I love that. It's my mum's just reached out to all of the family to say, "Hey, I need help with Nanny," with her mum, my grandma, yesterday. It was so beautiful. And, what she's asked of all of us is to every one of us have a day of the week that we call our grandma,
Mm,
and on every call that we have with her, that we say, "Hey, what are you grateful for?" And that we share. I'm actually gonna say to her, "Let's both of us do it," rather than, "Nanny, you just say what you're grateful for." And
mm,
to bring in that positivity in her life, when she's feeling so down about life at the moment, and to feel that connection between us, it's like, yeah, bringing it into our families. I love that.
mm. Yeah, yeah, and really, when you're doing your practice with the gratitude, bringing that felt sense as well, like Tara said, giving it a voice. And then what I like to do is I'll imagine gratitude like as a color or just as a sensation. And I just feel my whole body with it. Like every breath in, I just feel that gratitude filling me. And yeah, I feel it's really made a difference for me to pair that with, thinking about what you're grateful for, speaking it, and then just feeling that and like letting it move and being like, oh, this feels so good. This gratitude in my body.
That's what I do. I'm on my bed being like, "Thank you. Oh, this feels so good," because it cranks it and it moves the emotion through your body.
Mhm,
So, just like we do with the more contracted energies, we move them through our body to release them. It's exactly the same with pleasure.
mhm,
And we need to be working with both and have the balance of both. So, gratitude is a great way to balance that. And then actually to open to more pleasure through breath, sound, and movement when connecting to the things that you're grateful for. Good
mm,
one, Sal. Thanks for bringing that in.
mm. And one more thing I want to add as well, when we're speaking about balance, is when you're going into the feeling. This really helped me. Mum told me to do this when I was kind of getting stuck in Rem and I were going through a really intense period, and I was getting stuck in like these depressive episodes that would just spiral and spiral. And she told me to start balancing the amount of expression, the feminine, with meditation and bringing my own masculine in, because I felt really
Mm,
abandoned by my own masculine and like the feeling body. There just wasn't a lot of safety being created, I feel, from myself. So I was looking for that outwardly and from Rem, and when I wouldn't get it, it would all just crumble. And so I started just meditating every day and bringing in my own masculine and feeling that safety within myself, that I've got myself, and making that just as important as expressing and feeling really made a huge difference in my ability to not spiral into these like hectic little cocoons of darkness.
absolutely. And then the way that that integrates in the micro moments is that's the voice that I'm talking about when you catch the mind going into negativity, that like divine masculine comes in and goes, "Hey, I've got you. It's okay. You're doing great." And it's like that that stillness and that
Yeah.
wisdom speaker. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can also do the same with the divine feminine. It's like, "Oh, darling, you're doing so well. You just got up and did your daily practice. Well done." And
Mm.
at the end of the day, that's what we're doing with healing, is we're reparenting ourselves from that. I like to call it the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that's just like, oh, they're supporting me throughout the day. And the way that we really anchor that into our field is through the meditation, and is through that emotional expression, and balancing the both. And I
Mhm.
remember when I first tuned into that divine masculine energy, I was so unfamiliar with it because my dad was often working growing up, so I didn't have that from my father, so I didn't even quite know what it felt like, and it was kind of through Raven's masculine, actually, your mum's masculine, that I got that transmission and could then provide that for myself.
Mhm.
So it's a process.
Mm.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Well, shall I maybe check if there's any questions that have come? Um, so I don't know if this is necessarily a question, Someone has said, I want to have a job and my mum has passed away. Guessing maybe they're asking for some advice.
Right. Well, I would say if your mum has passed away, then there is a grieving process that is a natural experience to have with something like that, which essentially is everything that we've talked about, to feel the emotional body, to go through the stages of disbelief, of sadness, of depression, of anger, and to let yourself actually grieve that. And with wanting to have a job, then yeah, the question, I'd need to know what your situation is as to why you don't have a job. And whatever that block is, again, it's like we change our external reality when we work on it internally, because everything around us is just reflecting what we're open to and what we're closed to. So I'd be looking at what are the beliefs around you having a job, what has been the previous blocks, and again, take that into the body and move that through the body to see actually what you're needing and what job you desire as well. Yeah.
Great. I feel we should all just take a few deep breaths. That was yes, great. Thank you, Tara, for everything that you shared.
Thank you, darling. Maybe we can bring a hand to our hearts, our beautiful hearts, and just feel this commitment every day, just like you show up for everyone else in your life. Can you really commit to showing up for yourself every morning, just tuning into this beautiful heart, letting your emotions feel and release what's ever there. It's fair enough if you're feeling stressed. It's fair enough if you're feeling scared or sad or angry. Can you just be there like your own best friend, your own best teacher, to allow that energy to move? And can you also hold that presence for yourself? Just witness yourself having that experience. And then showing up for yourself throughout the day with the words that you talk to yourself with. And choosing to be kind and supportive and uplifting, to have your back and to have your own heart throughout the day. And to really do yourself the biggest favor by tuning into the energy of gratitude, which is the energy actually of receivership. We're grateful when we've received something. So the more grateful that we can be about different aspects of our life, then the more we're opening to receiving more of that. And let's just take a deep breath together. Let out a deep sigh. Let's do one more of them. Thank you all for being with us, and for those watching the replay, if you have any questions, just pop your questions in the comments and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tara. And I'm going to put a link to Get Tantra 101, which is our free offering, it's not like every free offering that you get. It's incredible. Mum spent a long time writing this as actually a paid for thing and then decided to make it free. So it's really in depth. It really, if you're going through a period of depression or anxiety, do this online journey, because it will absolutely change the way that you're experiencing life.
Absolutely. So glad we've got that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, darling.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.